Welcome to another edition of Humboldt All-Axess. We're about to turn the lights on and we've got four fantastic interviews. After the Cal Poly Humboldt men and women went 4-0 this weekend on the basketball hardwood, you know we're catching up with Michelle Bento-Jackson, DJ Broome. We're talking Jacks balls. They're out on the road this weekend. Lennie, Zalesky. That's right. We're doing a little wrestling. They are going Rocky Mountain High in Colorado. And welcome back all the way from Italy. Stephanie Ray returns to the Jacks. It's all here, Humboldt All-Axess. Pleasure to be joined by head coach Michelle Bento-Jackson of the Lumberjacks. Coach, the ring just keeps getting better. 6-0. What a start for your Lady Lumberjacks.
The girls have obviously done a terrific job here in getting us off to a positive start in conference play. And, you know, we just got to stay locked in mentally and really take this week by week.
All right, you did dodge a bullet on Sunday. Their best player at the line and missed 2 free throws. Now, of course, the old adage, ball doesn't lie, but nonetheless, not where you want to finish games, I'm sure.
No, certainly not. When she missed that first one, I was like, okay, I got to drop a play here for a quick shot, worst case, overtime. You know, all these thoughts start going through your head. But one thing I will say is, I can't remember if it was before the first one or after the first one, but the crowd really got into it, and they just started roaring, and it just completely changed just the environment of everything, and certainly, I would imagine, put a lot of pressure in the situation.
Yeah, they were stomping. I mean, the place was loud, and Tamara even came over to me after the game. She said, I think we get an assist.
They were the sixth man.
Absolutely, and then I was like, man, I felt bad. I was taking shots at the crowd during the men's game because they weren't nearly as loud as they were for your games. How important is the sixth man?
I mean, obviously, you know, in that situation, when it comes down to the wire and somebody is on the free throw line, I mean, I think it plays a huge part. And so big shout out to the fans for really coming through there at the end for us.
And I think it's great with your games, seeing how many families are out there and how many kids are enjoying your games.
Yeah, well, it happened to be youth/camper day this past Sunday. So, you know, all our campers from this previous Sunday we had reached out to, and a good majority of them came. And afterwards, both us and the men had a little autograph session for the kids. So that's always great to get the community involved.
Yeah, I ran into some kids. We got to have Nick and Drew provide more Sharpies, I think, if we're going to do autograph day. All right, here's my beef. Day games, the lights creep in. It's kind of a matinee affair. I love prime time. We're playing at Hayward on Saturday night. They've got the night games. What do we need to do? Now, Sunday I know is a little different, but on our traditional Thursdays, Saturdays, I want to see night games, Coach.
I mean, I'm right with you, JB. I'm not a huge fan. I never have been of the 1 o'clock games for us. I definitely prefer the evening games. To be honest with you, I think what it comes down to is if our opponents are able to fly out that night. So basically it comes down to a financial decision. However, I don't think our opponents got to fly out this past Sunday, so why not? But that's the situation we're in.
All right, fair enough. You know, I've asked this of Coach Broome a couple times, him being a first-year head coach. This is year 10 for you with the Jacks, and you've got experience before that. But what have you been most impressed with from a personal standpoint coaching, and what do you want to improve for this season moving forward?
Well, you know, this past Sunday, I thought we were really challenged in a few different ways. We did not execute the scout to the fullest like I would like us to do. We just had some slippage, as I would say, on the defensive end that we really need to clean up. But again, you know, it was just a different game for us, but I think we're going to learn a lot. We're about to have a film session this afternoon, and we'll certainly learn a lot from it.
How have you evolved in your time as a head coach? Because clearly, I'm not in the locker room, but I think the results show for themselves that you've evolved, and because the game has definitely changed a bunch. How do you evolve with this ever-changing game of college basketball?
I mean, that's a great question, and I think primarily 2 things come to my mind. One, as you said, just the game itself has changed. You know, we play a very fast style. We like versatile players, multi-positional players, letting them shoot the 3, letting it fly. And then it's also just, you know, as we all say, today's kids are a little bit different too.
Right.
So you have to involve in that area, and I try to keep a balance in that where I'm not going to compromise what our standards are. But, you know, in any year, your coach has got to know your players and how you're going to get the most out of them.
And they have been answering the bell so far. With that said, Coach, 2 road games, always tough on the road. On paper, games you should win, but that doesn't mean anything when you're going to play them. You got at San Francisco State, which, look, San Francisco State's been tough. It was a chippy game last year as well. And then East Bay, I mean, you know, they've been one of the top teams year in, year out. And let's be honest, they're, Saturday night at Hayward, it's going to be a difficult task to go and get 2 more on the road. I mean, as nice as 8-0 sounds, it's hard to do for a reason.
It's extremely difficult, and anybody who's going to pay attention to a record per se is pretty naive in this conference, because we know that it can change at any point in time. So I don't even focus on that. I don't talk about those type of things with the girls. Right now our focus is San Francisco State, and we got to prepare for them as if they were the best team in the country. And it's always tough on the road, so we gotta lock in as always and really be disciplined as we hit the road.
Self-scouting, if you were in San Francisco State's film room, East Bay's film room, how would you scout the Lumberjacks?
Well, I'm not going to tell you that. Obviously we're playing a different style this year, and so I'm sure every opponent in our conference is preparing for our full court defense and our press, and we're really trying to turn our opponents over as much as we possibly can to generate some more offensive opportunities for us. And then outside of that, I would imagine they just play more personnel, but we have 2 different styles in the half court as well. So, but I would imagine that's probably people's #1 priority right now.
How's Coach Bloss doing now that he's got the baby here? Is he changing diapers? Is he getting sleep? How's he been around the program?
He's changing diapers and he's not getting any sleep. So, no, he's doing great. I think he's, obviously there's a learning curve on how to balance both. Obviously coaching demands us pretty much 24 hours a day. And then when you have a little one in your life, that's got to be top priority. But he's doing a tremendous job so far. Coach,
congratulations. Keep up the good work on the road, and looking forward to it. DJ Broome after these messages. Pleasure to be joined by head coach of the men's program, DJ Broome. Coach, pair of thrillers in Lumberjack Arena this weekend. Beat Dominguez Hills in overtime. Beat LA yesterday, came right down to the wire. How fun is that? I'm sure it's not a lot of fun at the time, but when you reflect, getting those close wins, knowing your guys are gritty and then get it done.
Yeah, no, I think it's promising for what's to come, and obviously heading into middle and late February and March, playing in big games. You feel like we'll have some experience, probably more stressful than anything on the sidelines in the moment, but anytime we come out with a victory, it's fun and I'm happy, so I'm glad they both went how they did.
How's the stress level different from a player to an assistant coach to being the guy now?
As a player, you're really falling back on habits and what you've been doing for so long, and you feel like you have control because I have the ball, I can pass it, I can shoot it, I can guard my guy. As an assistant, you're kind of just playing the role of keeping everything smooth, keeping guys happy and engaged. And then I think as a head coach, what I'm learning is your brain just doesn't turn off. So your nights are long, you're always thinking about something, what I can do differently, rotations, game plan, and just really how to get the most out of these guys.
Yeah, talk about just getting to know yourself. Obviously, you've had a lot of great coaches, I'm sure, from back when you were I don't know if you played CYO or whatever the junior level was when you were a kid, to, playing for Coach Wood. Then you've been, you were at, I'm drawing a blank here, but you were at Monterey. Of course, you were at Montana. So you've been a lot, San Francisco Art. So you've been a lot of places, and you've had a lot of great coaches around you. Do you find yourself being like, okay, I liked what this coach did in that situation, or just kind of a big melting pot and something comes up?
Yeah, I think it's somewhere in between. I think from every coach you've worked for and learned from, you take things that you like and you've seen be successful, and then I think in every coach there's some things that you go I probably would do that a little bit differently if I was in charge. But I've been really fortunate in the guys I've been able to work for, especially the last 2 guys, and obviously Waterman and Art, who was in the same stage of building a program and taking over as a first-time head coach, and then obviously Travis DeCure's resume speaks for itself and what he's able to do year in and year out at Montana. So taking a lot from both of them, and then obviously what you learned here as a player with Woody and Kinder, and as it comes together, hopefully that ends up being a lot of success.
I'm really impressed on the offensive end, Coach. Not a lot of assists, a lot of turnovers. Couldn't seem to hit the backside of a barn from the free throw line. You go 18 and 19 from the stripe. I think you only missed a couple in the game against LA. 22 assists, double-digit assists again yesterday. Coach, how have you turned the corner so quickly offensively?
Yeah, I think, and it's funny because as we spoke, early playing golf, our shooting was something that was kind of a bragging point early. I knew we had talented shooters and we were capable at a lot of different positions in that area. So eventually the percentages were going to balance out. They always do when you have good shooters. But I think the type of shots we are getting and our buy-in to getting guys open shots and knowing I'm going to get open shots if I move it and we execute is what's really expedited how quickly we've been able to turn it around and become a better offensive team.
And then, of course, Wade Hampton's been great since you've inserted him into the starting lineup. And talk about, Rob and Drew coming off the bench, but they're still giving you a huge mitch. I remember when I played, it wasn't about who started, it was about who's going to finish.
100%. No, it's huge. I think, to me, that is probably why we win yesterday's game. We came out sluggish. It sort of felt a little bit Mercedes in where we were heading, and you
got 14-3 right off the get-go, and you're kind of scratching your head, going,
what's going
maybe
on?
we shouldn't be playing at home under 48 hours.
100%. So you call timeout, you get into the guys, but I mean, there's only so much those words do that quickly. I think what really turned it is Rob and Drew came in, and the energy shifted. It gives me a lot of confidence looking down, knowing I have two really good players down there that are both, if we're being honest, starters, and they're big time for coming off the bench, embracing that role, and still doing what they're doing.
Yeah, no pouting or anything like that. Just stepping up, and when their number's called, getting it done.
100%. And at the end of the day, when they look at the box score, they both play a ton of minutes, so it works out on both sides.
All right, let's talk about San Francisco State, East Bay. San Francisco State, longtime coach, done a great job. Kind of a athletic department that's hit some rough patches. And then Coach Rooney at East Bay, he's got it rolling right now. I mean, they're a top 15 team in the nation. They're undefeated. So you're going to have your work cut out for you.
Yeah, 100%. Anytime you go on the road in this conference, it's tough. Like I said, whether it's the bottom of the standings or the top of the standings, there's not much separation game-wise. There's also not much separation, talent-wise. So you can go and lose anyone, and you can go and beat anyone. So our deal remains the same. It's about us and how we're going to come out and what our intent is and how we're going to execute and how hard we're going to play. And when we do those things, we're a pretty good basketball team.
And you guys aren't strangers to the road. It seems like every 10 you play, 8 of them are on the road.
Yeah, no, 100%. Sit in your bed a couple nights and then get right back to it. But I honestly think in year one, it's kind of played to our advantage. You spend time with each other, you're together, you're getting to know each other, and it probably sped up that process, having our first 8 or 9 games or whatever it was.
Who gets control of the menu on the road?
So they get to order.
Okay.
I let CV's picking where we're going, and then they got a little bit of versatility in what they want to get per restaurant. But for the most part, it's just, easy stuff. Keep it simple.
Coach, appreciate it. Good luck on the road.
Appreciate it.
Head coach DJ Broome, Jacks at San Francisco State and East Bay this weekend. More right after these messages. Pleasure to be joined by Lennie Zalesky, wrestling coach for Cal Poly Humboldt. Coach, last time we got together, you were headed off to Reno. Mm-hmm. How did things go in the biggest little city in the world?
Well, they went pretty well actually.
Nice.
We took 26 of our guys, and it's a 32-man bracket, so there's a lot of teams there. We had 2 guys place. No one's placed from Cal Poly yet in that tournament. Last year we were out fairly early, but we had Josh Nord took 4th, and he didn't wrestle for 3rd and 4th. He probably would have won. He beat the kid last year in a dual meet.
Injured, I assume?
Yeah, he hurt his knee. Yeah, it's a rough tournament when you wrestle so many matches.
It's a lot of wrestling.
Yeah, and then Anthony Perez, who's our 157 pounder, took 6th, and he couldn't wrestle for 5th and 6th because he can only wrestle 6 matches, and he already had, or 5 matches, and he already had those. Then we had 3 guys 1 match away. So we had freshman heavyweight, Preston Dixon, 1 match away. We had Gil Mossberg, he went down to 149 this time. He was 1 match away. And then Daryl Nampuya was also 1 match away.
So great weekend in Reno.
Yeah, not a bad weekend.
Problem is you got to wait, what, 2 weeks again before, how long you guys have been off?
We've been off since then. That was December 21st. We'll wrestle this weekend.
Okay, so how much?
8,000 feet.
When we'll get into Western Colorado in just a second. Look, obviously I'm talking to the basketball coaches all the time. You got that little break, but over Christmas and then get them back. How much downtime did you give these guys in a sport where every pound matters? What's the word to the guys before they go home to see mom and dad and get into the milk and cookies?
Well, we're at this level, we don't say much because they know.
Okay.
So,
They know the price to pay if they don't when they get back?
well, they just know. But they came back all fairly close to weight. So, yeah, that's an issue at Christmas. But I think they all went up at Christmas and then kind of went back down.
Okay. Now, for me, I played football, and my only complaint about football was you only get to play once a week because practice was, it wasn't exactly fun. I mean, it was okay. It was great to be with the guys, but you lived for the games.
Right.
So how hard is it to get these guys motivated to practice day in, day out when, it's going to be these gaps between tournaments and matches?
I think that depends on the individual. Some people just like to practice
Okay.
a lot, just like to go over the drills and trying to get better and better. Others, it's more of a tug, to get, through the practices. But we're working out twice a week right now. And so, we're working out at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. So it's a little bit more than we've done in the past, but there's no school.
Right, and it's like the coaches say, for their players, they get to be professionals right now because all you got to do is worry about your sport. There's no class.
Right, yeah. But our season's going to be over with quick. So after this month, basically all we have is regions. And
Now, for talking to Coach Bento-Jackson, she enjoyed the break a little bit because she got to work on individual stuff. Now, your sport's a little different because it's all individual stuff. What is different between the beginning of the season to now as far as X's and O's and execution is concerned?
Yeah, well, for me, this break was good for everyone. Everybody was a little banged up.
Okay.
And we lost. We lost 3 guys actually at that tournament. 2 are having surgery. Yeah, so it's good just for rest. And the only thing that really goes south a little bit, it could be your weight. Your conditioning goes a little south too. But we'll see what we can do. But the break and the rest is good for all the wrestlers.
All right, now I'm sure it's just like your Olympic days, right? You're going to altitude, but Colorado Springs is like 6,000 square feet. You're going to Gunnison, Colorado. It's got to be the highest university, literally, in the United States of America. Probably one of the, anyways, 8,000 feet, Coach. Whether you like it or not, it's going to be a factor.
Yes. I don't know what to say. When I coached at CBU, we wrestled there every year.
Okay.
But we struggled a little bit. We found out, though, if we just get in really good condition here, that it didn't affect us that much.
Okay.
But, you got the dry mouth, you got the can't sleep at that altitude, you got different things. It's going to be a little tough, but it'll get us, the regions are going to be in Golden.
Okay. So
it'll
get you
get
ready
us,
for that.
We're at least 2,000 feet below that. Below what we're going to be this
Seems
week.
like nothing.
Yeah.
And you can bring me back some Coors when you
Okay.
go to Colorado. And
Okay.
All right, Coach, with that said, 4 teams in this tournament this weekend. What are you expecting? What are the goals for you, obviously, as a team?
Yeah, I think there's actually more.
Okay.
We're just wrestling 3 of them, I think.
Okay.
So I think there's like 12, and we're just pairing us off.
Got you.
What am I expecting? So these are all tough teams, I'll be honest with you. They all have a history of being very tough. Western and Mesa, we were 3rd and 4th in the NCAAs at CBU, having close matches with them and maybe getting beat by them, so it gives you an idea. I'm hoping, though, that our guys that are fairly competitive will have really good matches and get seeds above these wrestlers for the regions.
Yeah, I said because regionals are right down the pipeline,
Yes.
right? When is the regional tournament?
It's going to be the end of February.
So critical what's going on now to figure out where, because A, you want to get in, and then B, of course, you probably don't want to take on the number 1 seed in the opening round.
Right. Yeah, you're trying to get. We're fighting for some seeds this week, and so the duels will be tough, I think, to win. And we get, since we have 3 guys of our, at least 3 guys out. We'll see what we can do individually.
All right, Coach. Well, hey, enjoy the oxygen on the coast,
The
and
lack of-
good luck this weekend up in Colorado.
All right.
We're back after these messages.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Breaking out the throwback machine, the wayback machine, and moving forward, Stephanie Ray joining us. Stephanie, you played at Humboldt what years?
2000 to 2004.
Okay, so that's Coach Cheek time, right?
Coach Cheek time.
All right,
it
we'll
was.
circle back to that in a second.
Okay.
You've been playing professionally and coaching in Italy since then?
I have. So I played professional softball in Italy, and then I also played on the Italian national team.
Wow.
And then, so we got to like go to US and play on ESPN and all that stuff. It was really cool. And then I finished playing, and they asked me to start coaching, so I started coaching professional softball.
All right, so I mean, everybody's gonna, think of the romance and the dream, how amazing it is living in Italy. Growing up, living in America, what was it like living in Italy?
It was definitely a cultural shock because
Yeah.
it's very old-fashioned lifestyle, okay? And they don't have a lot of like the amenities that we have here, like, it's just a little different.
Not America.
No, it's not America, exactly. but it was an amazing experience. Plus, they recruit a lot of people from Australia, Japan,
Okay.
United States, so South America. So I've got to play with Olympians. So I've gotten to play with some pretty special people along my journey. It's
Yeah,
been
imagine
amazing.
some great. And where in Italy were you?
I was in Parma, which is where they make Parmesan cheese and Parma ham. The food.
What night are you hosting?
The
The dinner
food
is what we want to know.
capital of Italy.
How are you
It
so
literally
skinny?
is the food
You should
capital
be
of
looking like
Italy.
me living in Italy. I know that's fantastic. So I'm sure the girls will be expecting you.
I know, like
to cook one
cooking.
night. Okay, so what brought you back to Humboldt? Because we are a long way from Italy.
We are. So I love coaching, and this opportunity just came up kind of out of nowhere, and I couldn't say no. This is like my dream. So
No, obviously you and Megan have the connection of Humboldt.
absolutely.
Were you guys didn't play at the same time though, did you?
yes, we
Or
did.
You did.
So
Okay.
she was a senior when I was a freshman.
Okay.
So yeah, she was
So-
a senior when I was a freshman.
How wild is it to think 25 years later that here you guys are now in a working relationship in the same program?
It's going to be great, I think, because I think we're kind of on the same path towards the same goals, and I can't wait. I can't wait to learn more. I can't wait to just get this experience. I'm so stoked. I'm like really excited.
And how did it come about? Did she call you? Did
She
you
called
reach out
me,
to her?
Yeah, she called me, and I was like, yeah, like yes, like of
You getting
course.
tired of all that Italian food? Come on.
I miss Humboldt. I loved Humboldt. I
We all love
loved
Humboldt.
up here. I'm from Southern California, which is really different. And so when I first
Southern California might be farther than Italy when you really get to it, and I'm not talking geography.
driving wise,
Oh,
it's
yes.
more or less the same on a plane. So yeah, it's more or less the same.
I think what's great too is you guys both have, I'm sure, the same mentor. I'm sure you've got a lot of mentors, but
Absolutely.
you share Frank Cheek in that.
Absolutely.
So what do you think it's like being a product of Frank Cheek that helps you two mesh together as coaches?
Well, Coach is definitely like a tough guy, but he definitely had a soft spot, and so I think a lot of people might not have seen that about him.
We saw the Marine.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that when you play for somebody like that, you automatically have that bond because you have the bond of the hardships and you have the bond of also, the great times and the good memories. So that definitely brings you closer together because if you play for two separate teams, you maybe not have those things in common. So we do have Coach Cheek in common.
Yeah, now, one of Coach things, it stuck with me, a lot of things stuck with me, and I didn't get a chance to play for him, which is probably a good thing. But with that said, he was talking about recruiting. I recruit the parents and let the kids come, and then most people, when they came to Humboldt, they were here for 4 years, 5 years, whatever it was. The game has changed a lot. So how has the game changed? Have you noticed you've come back, and then how is the adaptation?
From when I played?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to be speaking more about Italian style because I played in Italy.
I love it.
Okay. So they definitely don't have the mentality that Americans have where it's like go, 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 go. The Italian players that have played in America have that mentality.
Okay.
And they're often the national players. So the players that are on the Italian
Like
national team.
yourself.
Like myself, exactly. But you have to remember that in Italy, they don't have sports and school together like we do in the United States. So sports is a hobby, it's a secondary thing, and most of the time they're studying. So if you look, Italians in Europe study the most, they're expected the most. So a lot of times they can't give what's necessary to a sport as an American would. So there's that difference. But my job when I was there was to bring the American mentality to the Italians and get people ready to potentially play on the national team. And so that was my job
So cool. And
as a professional coach.
Now, with that said, this weekend, Coach, you guys have got a camp coming up, right?
We
Tell
do.
me about it. How can people get involved? Who's it for?
Okay, so you need to go to HSU Athletics. Okay. We're going to have Bubba Nichols, who played at UCLA and who was also an Olympian in the 2020
Nice.
Olympics, and she's going to be working primarily on hitting. Instead, we're going to have Brandy Harrison, who I did play with, who owns her own hitting and defense company, and she's going to be working the defense aspect. It's for 8 to 15-year-olds. So please go to the website, sign up. You can find all the information on HSU Athletics.
And we're told you won't, if you're watching this, you won't go on Instagram, but you can go on their Instagram too and check that out.
It is on Instagram too. Okay.
Stephanie, hey, great to have you back
Thank
on the
you.
North Coast.
It's
Go
nice.
Jacks.
Nice
and
to see a familiar face
yes,
too.
yes, and we will all look forward to Parm Night at your casa moving
Okay.
forward. And
Casa Mia.
remember, you can't put Chianti in the water bottles. I'm kidding.
Okay.
Cheap shot there.
That's not allowed?
Thank you so much, and we'll look forward to catching you up as the season goes on. Hey, another great edition of Humboldt All Access. Go Jacks, and see you next week.